I said earlier that I've done 4 hours of live international television without a working earpiece. So you guys won't freak me out if you interrupt me. I actually love it, and it'll be beneficial for you. You'll get more out of your time today, and it'll feel more fun and spontaneous. So, you know, let's do this thing. Welcome to Tucson, you guys. Welcome to Oracle Jayne Station. My name is Andrew Sotomayor. I know many of you very, very well, but I'm still so thrilled and honored that you made it this afternoon. There we go. So I've been in New York for the majority of my life, but, oh wait, is there a password?
There's no password. They should just be able to get in with the link. I'm emailing some people now.
Okay. I literally don't know whose phone number this is either. Darn it. Okay. So, as I was saying, I've been in New York for most of my life. This is a moment that I was not in New York in my life. This is me with my Aunt Carmen. I called her Nanny because she helped take care of me when I was a baby. And she's pulling me around the backyard in Dallas. And you'll hear more about her in December of 2021. But she supported me through every part of my life, from changing diapers to coming to my high school plays, to when I was in school for theater, and simultaneously making plans to literally run off and join the circus, while also doing Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which is when I fell back in love with musical theater and decided I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to join the circus. I had to go and sing. So the funny thing was, though, every holiday season and every summer vacation, I would join my friends at the makeup counters. So I first started at the Chanel counter selling perfume, and then I ended up at Lancome. And, you know, I struggled like everybody else does in the beginning, and I applied for MAC like 3 times, but every time that I applied for MAC, somebody at Lancome all of a sudden magically had extra hours available for freelancers. And because of that, I ended up working at pretty much every single one of the department stores. And while I was supposed to be focusing full-time on Shakespeare in London, I managed to get a job at the Molton Brown counter at Oxford Circus. Because whether it was Lancome or anywhere else, I've always loved product. I was a kid with Crayola marker on the back of my hands my entire childhood. And so having lipstick on the back of my hands as an adult made perfect sense. Makeup's treated me well. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been my art and my creativity, but it's also been, again, my work. And I worked at the corporate offices for Lancome part-time while I was still in college. So I'd be sitting there in the history class typing notes on my computer, it looked like, but actually I was entering data into the Lancome spreadsheets that was getting ready for a big overhaul of their website, because I knew that buying makeup was not what it needed to be. I knew what it was like to buy makeup at the counters. I knew that, like, when you see a product online and you think it's beautiful and you're excited, but it comes back and it's not good, you're super disappointed. So I made it my mission to photograph products just exactly like the 2 you're seeing right there. And we did a major overhaul on the Lancome website. And that was before, e-commerce is what it is today. And on the left, you've got me working with Carrie Diamond, who was the head of PR at the time. And Carrie and her team really took me under their wing and gave me most of the best first opportunities that I had in my career. Before I was famous, before I had any credits, all I had was a portfolio and that I did in college with the grad students, and a lot of excitement. But that worked out really great because they started sending me to do a lot of red carpet. So for the 2 years that followed that, pretty much every single job that I got was basically the next biggest job that I got. And so for 2 years, I was completely unprepared for every opportunity that came my way. Everything was sink or swim. Carrie put me on Access Hollywood thinking that I was fully media trained because of the way that I carried myself. I was not. Trial by fire. But I walked through the fire. It worked out pretty well most of the time. Vogue was very, very good to me throughout a lot of my early parts of my career. They picked Lu Wen as one of the best beauty looks at the Met Gala, and that gave me more credibility to do other things, and other brands soon picked me up. That was a day at the bottom where I did Jourdain's makeup with Carol, who's on this call as well, who was contracted to Maybelline at the time. Yeah, I've been around. I've had really good friends, really good supporters. And it's been a lot of hard work being a makeup artist, including for the 22 seasons of New York Fashion Week that I did. And that was as a makeup artist on the left. And you see I was working hard, carrying 3 kits for 3 different shows by 3 different brands. And on the right, I was working it really hard, walking in New York Fashion Week. So I've really done everything there is to do, you guys. I've had a lot of amazing clients. I've done makeup through a bird cage. I've done makeup in the back of an Escalade. And most of the time I try to make my clients look their very best, but sometimes, like on Halloween for the past 2 years with Anthony Porosky from Queer Eye, I make my clients look their worst. Yeah, these are the actresses. There's a lot of them. 8 Academy Award winners, Tony winners, Emmy winners. I've been around, you guys. The musicians, I've had some really fun times with musicians. Natasha Bedingfield was one of my first celebrities. The supermodels are great. Fashion designers that actually sat in my chair, and some of whom I actually did other projects with too. Actors, more Academy Award winners in here. Sir Ian McKellen, A Night, love that. Idris Elba, gorgeous. Billy Porter, hilarious. Did Billy for Sesame Street. So ask me, yes, I can tell you how to get to Sesame Street. Oh, and not to forget, in addition, I've also done Vice Presidential-elect Kamala Harris. So she's exactly the person that you think she's going to be. But I have to give a special shout out at this event today to the journalists, because truly I would not have become the makeup artist and would not live the life that I get to live now at this point in my career if not for the amazing relationships I've had with the press over the past 18 years, maybe 15 of the 18 years. And it's given me a sense of pride, and it's given me a sense of responsibility. And I hope that I've done you guys justice and ridden back when you were on deadline. And as the son of 2 journalists, I will just add that it meant a lot to my whole family every time you guys have reached out to me. So thank you again for that. I've also done a lot of live TV, like I said. You won't scare me by throwing questions in if you have them, but Liliana Vasquez, Frankie Grande, and Katie Couric didn't throw me off guard. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I've done lots of guest speaking: New York City Department of Education, universities, Gay Men's Health Crisis, and the Oprah Magazine cruise ship. Longest trip I took out of New York in years when I did that. Branded events, I've worked with like 20 of the biggest beauty brands in the world. These are the ones that I didn't even work behind their counters. These are just the ones that used me for a press event to speak to you or to speak to consumers. That's Melanie Rudd at the Coty event. Congratulations, Melanie. She just got engaged in Sedona, which is going to come up again later in this conversation. But La Mer, CoverGirl, Chanel, Kiehl's, Clé de Peau Beauté, Yves Saint Laurent Beauty, L'Occitane, Lancôme, Dermalogica, Murad, Reina Rebelde, Kai Padami, and some others have all used me. And 2 of them even put me under contract. I was a spokesperson on contract for La Mer and for L'Occitane. And again, more opportunities that I learned behind the scenes about the beauty biz, which gave me more responsibility to you guys now. I've done a lot of wonderful work that's made me so happy to get to return to the theater, where I've worked with Julie Taymor, I've worked with Baz Luhrmann, I just worked with Ivo Van Hove for the production of West Side Story, which was revived on Broadway. I did the tattoos and the makeup for West Side Story. It rains on stage, which is kind of lovely because rain has a special significance for me and for this brand, which you're going to hear about in a little bit. And actually, it's over on the coat rack over there, but I have a West Side Story raincoat that they gave us as a opening night gift. And it's actually what I use when I make my products to make sure that they're clean. So I can't escape Broadway one way or another. TV has also been an important part of my life. I've worked on Project Runway, Pose, Saturday Night Live, The Other Two, Jesus Christ Superstar Live in Concert, John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch, And back in the day, I worked on the Today Show and lots of Rachel Ray show as well too. And TV's worked out pretty good for me because 3 years in a row, I was lucky enough to get Emmy nominated 3 times. And one of those years I actually won. I also dressed for the part because you can't see it in this picture, but the bow tie in the first one is the New York City skyline, and that was for Live from New York at Saturday night. The middle one is Jesus Christ Superstar, so I had to go super in rock and roll. And then for pose, I chose the most high-end fashion thing I could do, but also being people of color representing a little bit of a mariachi moment. And all along the way, I've managed to bring home and rescue 3 chihuahuas, 2 pigeons, and a quail. The quail is actually named after my grandmother, even though it's a boy. So I've been around. I've done everything there is to do in this business besides mortuary makeup, as my best friend said, who works for Ulta. But things were going good until March. And we all know what happened then. So I asked myself a question that every single one of us has had to ask. What now? And every single one of us is still figuring that out. And what I decided to do was to rely on the most important parts of who I was before March of 2020. I remembered that as a contributor to glamour.com, I got a Min nominated, I had received a Min Award nomination for my interview with Cara Santa Maria about just having a more thoughtful conversation about the beauty industry. I talked to Candace Kane, one of the most prominent women in the trans community, about breaking beauty norms and about how saying no is sometimes the most important thing you can do in your personal life and your career, and so on and so forth. And I remembered that I've called out people for doing really good things, like when CoverGirl became the biggest beauty brand in the whole wide world to go cruelty-free, and when they pulled out of China because they knew they would have to test on animals, and that was wrong. They pulled out, and that was a huge deal, and I'm so appreciative of them for that. I also called out Maybelline, on the contrary, in a 3,000-word essay when their PR team reached out to me and asked me to refer them to trans women to work for free in the middle of Pride Month. I'm like, that's the most underemployed community in America, and I just worked with the cast of Pose for this. So like, you really don't know what questions you're asking right now, do you? But I've, in more positive moments, used my voice in a lot of other ways, and I'm thrilled that Nicole from Beauty Votes is actually here with us today. I did 21 interviews in the days leading up to the election for Beauty Votes, talking to people like Daniel Martin and Drag Race competitor Alexis Michelle and Amber Kaler, who came as well. So journalists, makeup artists, hairstylists, all showed up. Delina came as well and did an interview. And we all talked about why it's so important for us in the beauty industry to use our voices. Did you know that LGBTQ people, people of color, young women, and Amber, I'm missing one group, LGBTQ people, young people, women of color,
unmarried women,
and unmarried women, we mirror the 65% of the unmarried voters. We mirror the 65.5% of eligible voters in America. And that's exactly the type of people, the gays, the people of color, the women. We're the people who make up the beauty industry. We mirror the part of America that can swing politics one way or the other. And we have been told for far too long to be quiet, to be shy, to be sweet, to be cute and adorable. And we're not doing it anymore. So I was proud that among my speaking engagements that I got to add the Biden campaign along with Amber and Baze and David as well, and Maureen Choi. And I also spoke to the folks at Creative Mornings, and 300 people came to that chat where I taught them how to use Instagram Live to raise money for charity. And raise money we did, because in the month of June, when the Black Lives Matter protests were erupting, and also coincidentally during Pride Month, I saw those black squares appear all over Instagram when suddenly thousands of cases of evidence of police brutality were disappearing and being buried. And I took a moment and then I saw what Nicole Byer said and I said, you know what? No, we're not going to stop talking because that's how the oppressors win. We all have a responsibility to speak up. And just like with the 21 people who came to speak to me for Beauty Votes about the importance of voting, which is not a political topic, 21 small business owners who are LGBTQ or Black joined me in conversations about how they are building their ethics into their brands. And so in those 21 interviews, I learned a lot. We raised $3,000. We taught a lot of people how they can use Instagram Live as well to raise money. And we supported a lot of charities and kept the conversation going because, again, we're not going to be silent. Another way that I'm not going to be silent anymore is by admitting to myself that it is time for me, with all this knowledge and experience that I have, to build a better brand. More small businesses launched during this time of the pandemic than in I don't know how long. And the values that I knew I needed to build into my brand, the same way these other small businesses were building values into their brands, which is that I needed to create beautiful, original fragrances. And I had a roadmap for this already, having made Christmas gifts in 2014 for people like Yin Chu, for Bronson Van Wyck, for my assistant Sarita Knopf, who just joined us, all inspired by their personalities and where they come from in the world and where they are in their lives. And these needed to be genuine experiences that were the motivations. They needed to have genuine ingredients. They needed to include recyclable and biodegradable packaging, not 3 ounces worth of acrylic. And they needed to represent an authentic heritage, because we know since the dawn of time that fragrance has always been purported to be about an emotional experience and a heritage. But guess what? Clé de Peau Beauté has nothing to do with France. And you know, I really thought I put the question in before I updated this slide between the break, but Jen and Amber asked me, why makeup to fragrance? Other people have asked me, why fragrance and not skincare? Well, facial skincare. Here's the thing. If you talk to the true perfumers, they're gonna all tell you the same thing, which is that perfume is an art. And I've always been an artist. So I just love this picture because you can see I'm kind of wiping off the makeup, which I'm not giving up my makeup career, but I'm coming back to the fact that makeup, art, perfume, we all know are about moods. It's about emotion. It's about contrasts. It's supposed to be about plants. And unfortunately, rarely are they ever actually in any way connected to plants. But one of the first places that I ever got really connected to plants and to nature was in Tucson, Arizona. This is not exactly behind my grandparents' ranch just north of Tucson, but this is more like the Desert Museum. This was taken from a photograph that then I turned into a painting when I was 16. This hung in my grandmother's house until she died at 98 years old. And then it's the one thing that I took back from her home, along with the knowledge of the body powder that made her smell as lovely as she did. But thinking about the plants, thinking about this heritage, this Southwestern heritage that taught me about the land, that taught me about nature, I decided it was time to launch Oracle Jayne Station. And here it is. Oracle Jayne Station is my new and my first ever product line that I've launched on my own. It's perfume, it's body products, it's luxury, it's authentic, it's emotional, and hopefully you agree that it's beautiful. And when I came up with Oracle Jayne Station, I knew what was important to me to ask myself was the question, what's luxurious about synthetic, pesticide-coated artificial ingredients? Why are there products sold at Sephora in their green section that are labeled as clean beauty if they're not organic, or if they've been refined and bleached and deodorized? Or if they have hormone disruptors in them? What is luxurious about something that is inevitably harming you? We know these things are harming you. They took triclosan out of dial soap for a reason. I remember my Uncle Bobby telling me a long time ago, we were growing organic food on that ranch before organic was even a term. He went to the School of Agriculture in Arizona just as Monsanto was beginning to get their claws in the agricultural industry. And didn't take that route. To give you an example of how we've been so misled, this is a 2-ounce bottle. It's empty, but this is what a 2-ounce bottle looks like. And this is vanilla fragrance oil. It's an actual price quote and size from a very popular DIY soap and cosmetic brand that's on the internet. You can watch their YouTube videos. They've got great other information, but their essential oils are not that. They're synthetic. And you know that because it's $5.65 for a 2-ounce bottle. On the other hand, organic CO2 supercritical vanilla total extract, which is a new process that basically collects every element of the plant, not just the individual particles that are able to be transferred via steam or via solvents. The CO2 gives you a more complete version of the essence, and you can see it's over $1,000 for that same amount of essential oil. So if somebody's charging you $50 or $75 or $150 for vanilla fragrance, which one do you think is in there most of the time? And just to give you another comparison of what $5 looks like of that vanilla fragrance oil versus $5 of CO2 actual vanilla, that's it on the right. That's about 4 drops on the right for $5. So we're doing it differently at Oracle Jayne Station. I didn't mean that to be a segue, but we're doing it differently at Oracle Jayne Station. It's about authentic luxury, right? So that means the products have to be organic or wildcrafted, minimally processed, steam distilled, cold pressed, CO2. They have to be tinctures made from organic ingredients like cane alcohol in this case. They have to be with actual essential oils. No artificial fragrances, no artificial colors, which artificial colors are some of the biggest causes of allergic reactions. There's no preservatives that are even needed in any of my products. And the water. Water, oh my God. When I first was doing these, I started off using well water in Vermont, but I'm now using reverse osmosis, which strips absolutely everything, including all the minerals, out of the water besides H2O. Whenever possible, and in this case, the shea butter and the sugar, those are both fair trade certified, and I actually threw away in the garbage $65 worth of shea butter that came to me because it was not fair trade certified when it arrived. It was community fair trade and was like, it's not the same. And I could smell that there was cocoa butter in it. And I was like, it's important for me to know my ingredients. And I do, so you're not gonna pull a fast one on me. Also, can I just say this? No melt and pour, you guys. No melt and pour. You know that store Saban? So one of the last dates I went on with my ex-boyfriend was to Saban, and we took a soap making class. But what we discovered is that the way all of those beautiful bars of soap that are not pre-wrapped, the ones that are on the shelves at Saban, those are all melt and pour. And I know this because we took the class and we saw her pull it out of the drawer. It's from Crafter's Choice, which you can get at Michael's Arts and Crafts. You just melt it down, you add the perfume, you add the mica, and then you're done. All of my products are made 100% from scratch. They're my own exclusive recipes. And if you check the back of any bottle of perfume, it's gonna say just the word fragrance, right? And if you contact the brand and you ask them, where does your sandalwood come from? Where does your lavender come from? They're gonna tell you, we don't tell you. But I can tell you, if you really, really try to get it out of me, I can tell you because I know exactly which country every single one of my ingredients comes from. And in some cases, I can tell you which state in America it comes from. And in some smaller cases, I can tell you the name of the woman who picked them for me, what part of Arizona she lives in, how the weather was, and when she's gonna be able to pick more for me. So that's some in that big blue bucket. That's actually some actual chaparral that's going in my brand for January. And it was important to me, as I said, like being able to connect with these small independent suppliers and some mid-sized ones as well. It was important to go cruelty-free and beyond. So there's no animal ingredients. They're entirely vegan because if you have to use cow's milk or goat's milk in your soap, it's not gonna be cruelty-free because you're killing that goat eventually. So no animal ingredients ever, no animal testing because it's just not needed. And I also wanted to be respectful of people. So that means people like the woman I just showed you in that picture who supplies some of my essential oils. She's charging the rates that she feels are fair. And I'm also being respectful of Indigenous people, which you're gonna find out in a couple different moments during this presentation. And also no sulfuric acid processed waxes. If you ever see Candelilla wax, that's something that comes from Mexico, but there's only 2 ways to process it. And one of them is with sulfuric acid. Not everybody has switched to citric acid. And the ones that are only doing it for big companies. So until then, I'm not making somebody reach their hands into a vat of sulfuric acid for some lip balm. Oh, some products are grown in the USA. Eco-friendly packaging, partnering with nature. Come on, like it's a natural brand, so we have to take care of that. So recycled packaging, a lot of unbleached craft paper, which you could see is pretty chic. No styrofoam peanuts. Locally sourced as much as possible. The labels are all printed in America, and coming in 2021, I'm still working on how this is going to work, but I will be a TerraCycle participant. I already send my personal products from my makeup kit when they run out and they can't be recycled. I ship them to TerraCycle, and every single component gets broken down and recycled. So Oracle Jayne Station will be participating in that one way or another in the year ahead. And here's my first fragrance. El Arroyo, El Arroyo is inspired by the scent of the desert after it rains. I remember standing out on the porch with my relatives, watching the lightning, watching the rain come down, and the smell that surrounds you. And I came out with a 5-product collection to get things started right. And I don't think any of you have received your gift boxes yet. They should. Some of them might have arrived today, but others will arrive this week. And don't throw it away. There's a small branch of leaves in there. This is called chaparral, aka greasewood, aka creosote bush. It's all the same thing. And what's so special about this plant is that there's truly nothing in the world that smells just like it. It's floral, it's fresh, it smells different every time you put your nose to it. And while it smells fragrant, even just like when it's dry like this, it really releases its fragrance when it gets touched by the rain. So I'm thrilled about this. And you can see the picture in the middle is a picture that's taken by my photographer who's shooting things right now in Arizona for me. On the left is me in Vermont smelling my stuff. And then on the right is some chaparral that was picked just for me. That'll be in our fragrances in January because they take 2 months. I'm going to speed through some of these details so I don't leave you guys talking. Does anybody have any questions right now, by the way? I've talked a lot and this is supposed to be your time.
I have a question.
Jump in.
So they're all of your fragrances are in glass bottles, correct?
Yep, because plastic is not compatible.
Right. And so how do you protect your shipments? Like what are you using when you're shipping them? You know, since you're not using, I want to know how it's shipped.
The way that I'm shipping them, it's all the way on the other side, but there's this brand called Jordan Samuel Skincare, and Jordan sends his wrapped up in this paper that's got these shreds through it, and so you can kind of expand it like an accordion, and it looks like lace. So I have the same paper in a craft paper unbleached version, and that's what I'm wrapping it in, and then the bottle goes into a craft paper box, and then that's how we ship it. And if it needs more protection after that, it will be more of that same craft paper with the slices through it.
Got it.
This is the Royal Eau De Parfum. The large bottle is $128. The 50 ml, half the size, is $88. This is the first luxury perfume to contain both the chaparral extract and the essential oil. Usually you don't get extracts or tincture in an essential oil because of a lot of reasons. In this case, my perfume, if you were to spray it on a tissue, you would see it's actually bright green. It's actually dark green. So do not spray this perfume on white clothing. Put it on your skin where it belongs and enjoy it there. But don't spray it on a white shirt, please. But if you ever do make a mess, or if you spill some on your counter, a little bit of hand sanitizer will clean that right up. But it's got the essential oil in it. And what's cool about this is that for many, many years, people never put it in their perfume because they truly thought that this waxy sort of plant, it was impossible to distill. People tried and got not one single drop out of it. So in this case, one of the first. It's made with organic, sustainable cane alcohol. And that's special because the majority of the alcohols that are used in perfume are super, super toxic. The FDA requires for tax reasons, because they want to make money off of the taxes, that you have to denature it. And what basically that means is that you have to make the product so disgusting, so nauseating, or so vomitous that it would actually make you so sick that you couldn't drink a bottle of perfume. However, instead of using a lot of the super toxic chemicals that they use, you can do this naturally. You can do this with the right essential oils. A lot of brands won't do it because the biggest brands are not using actual essential oils, and they don't. So there you go. I'm using actual essential oils, and I figured out fragrances that smell beautiful with what can be considered a denaturant. What does it smell like? Okay, what it smells like, it starts musky, it starts spicy, and it's very intense, like the first beginning of a rainstorm. But as the perfume starts to dry down, my best, most favorite part of it is about 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, when it's really dried down and you get the softer, fresher, more floral version of the scent. It's unisex and suitable for all genders. I also made an alcohol-free version of it, which I'm working on getting it halal certified because halal products cannot have alcohol in them. So conveniently, this is an oil-based version of my perfume. It does smell a little bit different on purpose because when you do it in oils, in this case, jojoba, which comes from the desert, and olive oil, you can have different ingredients in there that cannot go in an alcohol base. So this is a more earthy version of the scent. It's a little bit richer, it's a little more saturated, but also again, really, really beautiful. My next product is the El Arroyo Whipped Shea Butter. Shea butter is having a moment, but it's kind of always been an important thing because shea butter is one of the oldest used body moisturizers. It's really, truly beloved by dancers. I learned a lot about because it's really good on rough skin and calluses and protecting them and keeping them flexible. Shea butter is something I learned a lot about when I was at L'Occitane, but there's a lot of things that I'm doing differently with my shea butter. First off, in this case, it's organic, it's unrefined, so it's got the natural nuttiness to the fragrance as well that lives there. And this case, my shea butter supports a women's run collective in Ghana, Africa. So again, I know which country this shea butter is coming from. I know that the people making it for me are, and for you, are, they're getting paid fairly for it.
I have a question.
Jump in, Maria.
Can you use this product, like just a little bit of it, warm it up in your hands and put it in the hair as well to finish your hair?
Yeah, you actually can use shea butter. It's better, it's richer, so it's better for somebody with a thicker or more textured hair. The shea oil is also a thing that Sashir Zameda likes to use. She'll use jojoba in her hair, or she'll use shea oil as well. It's heavy, so it just depends on your hair texture, but it's more for the ends. But I will tell you, you don't, for your skin and your body, you don't have to warm up my shea butter, which is different than most shea butters. Usually the way that you do it, the most traditional way is you stand in front of a fire, you warm your skin and you warm your body, and then you apply your shea butter to your nice warm skin. In this case, because the texture is whipped and because the fragrance comes from infused jojoba oil that softens the formula even further, this is a wonderful alternative to body cream, which means you don't need to have preservatives that go into every single body cream that has any water in it. The texture is fluffy, it's light, it's rich, and it turns from a rich, fluffy cream into a moisturizing oil as you wear it. But no, there's no need to like scrape into it. There's no need to warm it in this case. No petroleum either, because that's nonsense. Oh, and creek, by the way, that means the, it's when the river runs. It's the creek. That's what El Arroyo means. It's the creek that runs behind my grandparents' ranch. This is the most successful product of my Indiegogo. This is the El Arroyo Hand and Body Scrub. This was the sleeper hit. And this is inspired by the look and the smell of the desert. And the three main ingredients of it are pink Himalayan sea salts, plus organic, fair trade, raw, sustainable cane sugar. So and chaparral leaves. So it's got sugars, salts, and shrubs. Sugars, salts, and shrubs. So the salts are detoxifying, they're clarifying, especially if you've got, rough skin or clogged pores. The sugar is moisturizing. The chaparral leaves, when they hit the shower, it releases the natural aroma plus the essential oils that I add to it. So it smells delicious and amazing. But here's the thing, this is not just for the shower, because we've all bought that shower scrub that sat there for ages. It got dust under it. Hopefully it didn't get mildewy underneath it. They just don't get used enough. But if you want to participate, then maybe take it back and forth from the bathroom to the kitchen. And this can be one of your everyday luxuries. This is so special because you can take just a pinch of the granules in your hand and then just a couple drops of water, just a couple, and then start scrubbing at the kitchen sink and get rid of like garlic or other smells, and then rinse them right away. Rinse them right off. No artificial perfumes needed, and yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things. This is my
And
soap.
going back, we have a question from Amber.
Great.
Could you add this product to your bath like traditional bath salts?
You can add this product to your traditional bath salts. There's something coming that you're going to want to be looking forward to. I already have the packaging in 2021, so get ready, stay tuned. But if you're super eager and you want to try it, do it. But I also have a lot of things to say about Epsom salt, which you will find out in 2021. Short answer though, yes, Amber, you absolutely could add this to your bath. Looking at the price point, there's a more cost-effective way to enjoy a bath with these amazing smells. But to get you started, go for it. This is the El Arroyo Hand and Body Bar. Like I said before, this is not a melt and pour. None of that in my brand. This is a 100% original recipe for soap that I came up with, that I've tried out, it's got olive oil, shea butter, castor seed oil, and coconut oil. And I've came up with this formula so that I've got a balance of moisturizing agents, of products that make the bar solid so that it lasts long, and ingredients that give you a good, rich bubble. But what I want to tell you that's a little bit different about this, because it's a natural bar soap and because it's got these actual moisturizers in it, remember, because we're in COVID, you have to wash your hands for 20 seconds, right, you guys? So especially if you're a mom and you have kids, or if you write for a mom's magazine, remind your kids, remind yourself to wait for the bubbles. So, swirl the bar in your hands a few times, you'll get some good product on there, and then do a little more scrubby scrub. And then you get this really rich lather that just covers your hands like a glove. It feels lotion-like, it's moisturizing, it's deep cleansing. And even if you're a makeup artist washing your hands 12 times a day, your hands will be clean, but they won't be dried out and irritated. There's a heat lightning design you can see in there. Makes it more beautiful. And I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the one. This was the first bar of soap that I ever made. I saved it, and you can see these striations that are there. That's because when I cut it, some of the leaves went straight through the bar, and they gave you this cool, like, rocky design. That was beginner's luck, and now I have to carve it into every single bar by hand because it's so pretty. Oh, and the charcoal is food grade because that's important. Okay, moving on, you guys. Sedona. Sedona is really important to me as well because I took a trip to Sedona with my aunt, my grandmother, and my sister when I was a little kid. And Sedona is famous for these amazing, amazing rocky hills that are super jagged. And that green stuff, that is evergreens. We're talking like juniper, pine, pinyon. Baze loves Sedona. And you know who loves it as well? Melanie Rudd, because she just got engaged in Sedona. So congratulations, Melanie. But because they're red and because they're green and, like I said, covered in evergreens, Sedona Red Rocks is perfect for my, holiday collection. So we're doing holiday back-to-back with the debut collection, but holiday in Sedona. It does snow there because it's a little bit higher altitudes, and it is amazing. And as amazed as I was to see evergreens in the desert, whereas I used to see them only in New York, it's an experience I never forgot, and it's the inspiration for the Red Rocks collection for holiday 2020. Red Rocks has an Eau De Parfum. It's, again, I already explained how it's inspired. The essential oils, one more time, include pinyon pine, Utah juniper, which come from the Southwest, rabbit brush, which I have some, but they are going to make me some just for me in the next coming months. Frankincense, because it's the holidays, and with all these bright fragrances in this perfume, the frankincense really grounds it and it helps it to last longer, which is important in a natural fragrance. And also, guys, repurposed Christmas trees. They literally collect these Christmas trees from a festival that happens in Arizona and Utah. In Utah, they collect those, they distill them, and some of them are going into my perfume. The scent is balsamic, it's citrus, it's pine, it's unexpected, it's nostalgic, and it's really, truly beautiful. These are the Red Rocks Hand and Body Scrub. Red Rocks was, of course, the rocks and the thing I knew I had to be able to make somehow if I was going to do a Red Rocks collection at all. So what I found was Red Hawaiian Alea salt. And that's a salt that comes from the Hawaiian coast. It's naturally red because it contains a lot of the minerals that are from there and the clays. But what I discovered is that the majority of what you find, and the same thing is true for black salt, is that the red salt, the black salts, they're actually just coated. So while this in a lot of cases is bad, because if you're buying black salt, like I bought at Grand Central Station thinking, ooh, my lentils are now going to taste sulfuric like eggs, like scrambled eggs, and my tofu bowls will be that much better. Lies. Trickery. It's just salt with charcoal. But in some cases, it's actually a good thing, because what I found out about Hawaiian alea salt is that it's actually considered sacred to the native people. And in terms of being cruelty-free to people as well, this is important, because I don't want to step on people's culture. So this is a red Hawaiian alea style salt. It's got the coating of clay on it, but it's not sacred. It's not from an endangered environment, but it gives you that clay that's moisturizing, that's deep cleansing and great for sensitive skin. It's got you those mineral salts we already talked about, those same essential oils we talked about. And it's one of the best ways to experience my fragrances, frankly. Red Rocks has a beautiful hand and body bar, and there's two ways that these are going to be packaged. As you could see, this is what's in the gift set. This is the gift packaging, which you already see online. And most likely, this is the only one I'm going to offer until the holiday season is over, just for ease of use. But I'm also going to offer this simpler packaging, because what's nice about soaps is that the longer that you let them age, the more they cure. And so you want to let the soap breathe. So on this side, I've got the holiday packaging, which comes with some little wrapping on it. And then you've got this one with a window. So it lets the soap breathe, it lets it mature, which allows it to get harder, which allows it to ultimately last longer. The biggest difference between this and my other formula is just that this contains red Moroccan clay. It contains turmeric and paprika, which give it the beautiful, beautiful color. Moving on, still for the holidays, I'm doing two artist collaborations that I'm really excited about. A lot of my friends, 4 of us total, from the crew of West Side Story, have decided to start our own brands and businesses, because as most of you know, it's going to be probably a solid 1.5 to 2 years before Broadway shows come back, which has never happened in the history of Broadway. So as devastating as this is to all Americans and to our economies, considering that more people work for Broadway than work for the entire coal industry, what we're doing about it in the short time is doing what artists do best, which is that we evolve and we use all the many skills that we have to share with the world. So my friend Jake from the costume team has been doing his fine art. My friend Matthew launched a brand with 2-ply neoprene face masks, which are some of the best fabric for protective face masks. And by making them fashionable, he got rid of a lot of the stigma and has sold now 1,500 masks online. And among these guys, my still favorite of all time is Michael Clifton. Michael Clifton is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. He is a makeup artist, and Michael works at The Lion King. I stole him from Lion King, not just for the West Side Story, but also to work with me on the other 2 on Comedy Central. And Michael is an amazing artist and illustrator. And he has done a lot of advertising for The Lion King. He's got a picture of Winnie Harlow on the right that he drew, and a little self-portrait in the middle. And what really came to mind was, well, what can Mikey do for Oracle Jayne Station? And he did not disappoint. Oh. This is the Oracle Jayne Station and Mikey Clifton Little Buddies collection. It's a mini soap trio. I've got one right here. It's got a cute little sticker with a custom designed label for me. And inside the box, you've got 3 miniature soaps that are nesting together. And what's extra fun about them is that they're wrapped in these reusable stickers. So if you give this to your niece or nephew or your daughter or your son, you can actually go and you can cut the sticker through the back of the seam, cut it out, and then the sticker, it doesn't stick to the soap, it only sticks to itself. So the sticker is still good. They can put it on their binder, they can put it on their clothes, and it's got a unique tangerine and lemongrass scent, because tangerine, I didn't even realize this first. I used to get tangerine boxes every year from my aunt off of my grandmother's ranch. And I just decided, well, tangerine is a kid-safe oil. This is a kid-safe certified essential oil. It's in a quantity that's safe for children to use. And the funny thing that I didn't realize until after the fact is that those tangerines always came in December, and this is part of my holiday collection. So again, the connection to my family is always, always there. And again, this is super, super true to my brand, because what Mikey managed to do was, you can see the little jackrabbit bunnies in the middle. They're taking a nap around chaparral leaves, which is in my perfume, and it's something that they also eat. There's a baby quail on the left, which quails have a super deep connection to my grandmother because they used to lay eggs in her planters. And then on the right is a kit fox, which was Mikey's choice. And that is just too cute. And Kit Fox was special, and Kit Fox is cool because this is my Chihuahua Cokie, and you can't tell me that this Chihuahua is not at least some part Kit Fox. And what I sometimes call Cokie is my little buddy, and so that's how the name of the collection came around. It's kind of named after my Chihuahua. So as far as artist collaborations go, I round them out with jewelry and pottery collections. On the left, you can see there's blackened sterling silver. These are a great holiday gift because these run at $36. It comes with an 18-inch chain, and it's a hummingbird skull. We did not harm a hummingbird. My grandmother would haunt me for all of eternity if I ever harmed a hummingbird or a quail, and I wouldn't blame her. But it's blackened sterling silver, so obviously it goes with the El Arroyo collection. And below that on the bottom in a redder, pinker tone is rose gold. That one goes for $180. These are cast from a real hummingbird skull that was found. And yeah, rose gold. So you've got the black and the pink stories going on again. And on the right, this is a collection that I'm continuing to learn about, continuing to figure out how I'm gonna prioritize. So I had a conversation with my friend Cece from Prados Beauty, Cece Meadows. She's both Chicana and she's Native American. This is Native American art. It is made by Native Americans. It is not culturally appropriated. It is not made in China. It is not imitation. It is not, it is illegal to call something Native American art if someone from a tribal community did not actually make it themselves. So I can tell you the name of the artist who made each and every one-of-a-kind piece. This is clay pottery. It is art. It is not meant to put flowers in. Don't put don't put avocado, don't put guacamole in there. This is meant to be appreciated because every single one of these is hand painted. These are traditional techniques. They're passed down for centuries, through generations, and it is my responsibility and my priority to you to let the world know that there is beautiful, beautiful art from these tribal communities that is not limited to just what we think of when we think of Southwestern art. There's a geometry there, there's stories, there's weather motifs that you may not recognize at first, there's storytelling. And for me, being an artist, I have the opportunity to see the ideas, to see the beauty, to see the craftsmanship and the skill that goes into these. And I brought some extra pieces with me to share with you on our live. This one is a piece made by Octavio Andrew. And what's cool about this is that it just so happened to connect to my brand, and that you've got matte and shiny, glossy black. This is a seed pot. This one goes for $88, but there are larger pieces as well, like this one, which is from Viviana Martinez. And you can see the detail in this is incredible. This is done by hand, every single one of those lines, and somehow she ends up right at the end, in the same place where she started. This is a piece that goes for $320. It's gorgeous. I'm lucky that I get to live with it for the time being. And I just know that, yeah, like what Cece said, is she's like, this is a community of people who have centuries of artwork and craftsmanship, but that are suffering right now in a system that's not taking care of them during COVID, that has, relegated them to smaller and smaller lands as the times and times have gone on. And me at this point in my life and my career, I have the opportunity to draw attention to what these artists are doing. And so you'll see a lot of talk about them on my blog. You'll see that 20% of every sale of the Native American pottery is going to go back into the community, whether it's to help people get an education. There's a lot more things that are going to come out, and you'll hear about that in the near future. I've got some notes in the chat, so I'm just going to see what people are saying. Andrew Barrett says, your achievements are inspiring. I have to go for another call. Thank you, Barrett. Please send links to holiday gift when available. Holiday gifts are available now. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Delina, thank you for the thoughtfulness for the brand. I love that too. Thank you so much.
I have a question, Andrew.
Yes, jump in.
Was that part of this artist collaboration? Was that part of the original vision? Is that why it's called Oracle Jayne Station?
That's a great idea. Oracle Jayne's Station is the name of the street that my grandparents' ranch was on, which is where I used to spend my summers growing up. Oracle Jayne Station is the shorter adaptation of that name, but originally I was just going to call it Oracle Jayne. And I decided I should try to make my lawyer happy. And she said, you know, if you make it 2 words, the people are going to try to sue you. If you make it 3 words, it's going to be a lot harder for them to sue you. And I said, well, you know what? I want to make my lawyer happy. And if I call it Oracle Jayne Station, it harkens back to the train station that was actually there and to the idea of a trading post. And it opens this up so this brand is not just going to be limited to the heart of the brand, which is the perfumes, but it's going to be able to reach into a lot of other areas of art and creativity, sustainability, design, culture, handmade goods, things that every industry should be talking about. But as a member of the beauty community, you and I, we each know that we set trends. We change the way social media is used. We change the way people think about technology. And with your help, I hope to change the way that people think about manufacturing, the way they think about business, the way they think about supply and demand. So I humbly thank you for your time. If there's any questions, now's a great time to ask them. I've used a lot of your time, so thank you for staying this whole time. And
Andrew, for the new holiday collection, are you selling it together?
As like a gift set?
Yeah.
I was selling things individually, just as a new brand, but if you think people would be more happy with a gift set, I will totally package them together. Carol Columbani says, Andrew, this is really amazing. The whole line is really beautiful and generous. We feel your good energy in it. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Carol, one of the best makeup artists in the world. So Amber, no, at this point they're sold separately.
Okay. Because I love the little trio that you did. You know, it feels very giftable. So I'm just wondering if there's.
I have a box sitting right there. We're gonna, you know what? Let me put it this way. In all seriousness, I said to my other publicist, Rachel, who is off, she just had a baby. I made her a unscented version of all of my products. And because customization is really, really important with this brand. I found out that the soaps from, I'm gonna call it Dumb Elephant because I can't remember the other, Drunk Elephant. Drunk Elephant, those soaps, okay, so my soap is 4.5 ounces. The Drunk Elephant soap is 4 ounces. It costs $10 more. The Drunk Elephant soap doesn't have a single organic ingredient in it anywhere. My former roommate, Mary Irwin, can't use it because it's got wheat germ in it, so it's not gluten-free. And somehow it managed to work its way into the green section of Sephora. So I have a problem with that. But what I don't have a problem with is making somebody a custom version of any single one of my products if they have an allergy, if they have concerns about pregnancy, or just anything else. If I can make it quality and in a small batch, then I will. And so the same thing is going to go now for gifting. There will be a gift set, and I will get you the price on it as well. That'll have all 3 pieces of the Red Rock collection, because that's what a small business is supposed to do. Like, I'm choosing sustainable and virtual and adaptable packaging so I can put a different sticker on it, and I can give customers what they actually need. And if it makes somebody's shopping experience better, or if, you know, it just elevates the luxury feel of it, that's what I'm here to do. So thanks for the suggestion.
I'm so proud of you, I have to say.
Thanks, Maria.
I am really looking forward to helping you promote this line. I think it's really important for people to have clean, natural beauty. And I love the whole idea that they can, you know, reach out to you and that it's very personalized if they need to have something customized, if they have an allergy. I just think it's beautiful. I think that what you're doing here is so important, and we really need this.
Thank
So
you.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. Amber says she got to jump on another call, but love it. Thank you, Amber. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me my new idea. That's what small business are supposed to do. Just listen.
Yes, do like an artist collab gift set holiday. Can he whip that up like today?
Yeah, literally. I'll send you a picture when we get off this call.
Great.
That's how small businesses work. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else have other questions? Otherwise, I'll let you guys go about your evenings.
No, please send me, when you get a chance, please email me. I'd love to like really get ahead of everything, you know, before the holidays and start posting. So if you can go ahead and send me some information, you know, important details that you want highlighted for quick blurbs, for stories, that's helpful.
We're going to send you all of the slides from this presentation, so you'll have them, as well as Marla and Jen have the official press releases, which has a lot of the information overlaps a lot, but that's 2 ways to digest it. And if this video comes out okay, you'll be able to watch me play it back if you need any sound bites.
I think it's important because a lot of people don't understand how products are sourced, and you know, they see natural and they think, oh, it's clean, you know what I mean? And they don't realize the, you know, how the expense that goes into this kind of production. So
they
it's
often don't realize the trauma to women and children as well. You know, I used to be a monthly donor to charity water back when I was making money like everybody. People used to make money. You know, I used to donate every month to charity water, and that was an important organization because in a lot of developing countries where there's not easy access points to water, women are responsible for collecting them, and especially young women are responsible for collecting the water, and so it puts them at danger, and that's not considered with most products that are made. So again, being able to source ingredients that are fair trade if they're international as much as I possibly can, and being able to talk about it with you guys, we are starting this conversation and we're continuing to make this the norm. Like, this should be the norm. Everybody who does a job in America or anywhere else in the world should get paid fairly for what they do. You shouldn't be starving while working a full-time job, and you shouldn't be putting your life at risk to make a wax for lip balm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So thanks for drawing that to our attention. Maybe you have any other questions?
I just love it, Andrew. I just think it's so beautiful. I was sold like, you know, a whole 58 minutes ago. And like, it's, the details are important, but it's just like, once you know your career and your passions, like, it's like, of course it's going to be amazing. It's just, you know, where do I order? So I think maybe
Jaynestation.com.
big part of the story.
Thank you so much, Nicole. That means a lot to me. And Katie, Katie says, thank you so much. Can't wait to try. Katie, what I would also point out is your gift set is already in the mail. It's on its way. This is actually the tough, people who've been in business for 40 years have told me this is the most difficult shipping experience they've ever had in their entire existence of their companies. But so your stuff is on the way. I want to give you one heads up. This is how the perfume comes. It's a beautiful matte black glass bottle. And so what I did in the sample size, this is a mini, these are not for sale. I did the same matte black, almost the same matte black, but do me a favor, you guys, either email me or Jen or Amber, because I found a bunch of these Red Rock samples on my desk today and they were empty. So I've been horrified for the past 48 hours that I sent a bunch of you empty perfume bottles. So if it's not in there and you can't smell it, let me know. And if you, when you do get your gift box, just be aware of one important thing also. The soap that I sent to you, I wanted to send you a bar that was fully cured and fully ready to use, but I was still developing the perfume at the time. So it's gonna smell great, it's gonna smell nice, but it will smell softer. When you get the final bar of soap, the one that consumers are gonna go ahead and buy, I loaded it up on the fir essential oil. And so it literally smells like a Christmas tree in a bar. So just be prepared for that. Any other questions?
That's it. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank
Thank you, Nicole.
you.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Bella PR, for putting this together.
Yes.
And,
And just chiming in, if you guys need anything in terms of samples or press material, we will be following up post-event. But in the meantime, if there's something specific you want or something specific you want to try, don't hesitate to reach out to Amber or myself.
Thank you.
Asia, thank you too. I saw you came in at the end, so thanks for joining. It's great to reconnect. And to you, Asia, and to everybody else, thank you so much. Stay safe. See you soon.